Hello, welcome back to another Petroglyphs in the Sky UFO show. How is everybody doing? I am your host, Jeff Woolwine. We have a great show for you tonight. Petroglyphs in the Sky. Make sure you check out my YouTube channel, The Phoenix Lights Petroglyphs in the Sky. The only show where we get down to the bottom of what the Phoenix Lights really is, not just from hearsay or somebody guessing on what it is, but actual proven facts. Not only from the history of Phoenix, Arizona, but also from what the Native Americans say about these lights through their rock art, through their 1,000-year-old petroglyphs that are carved around the mountains in Phoenix that describe what these Phoenix lights and other UFOs that we see in the skies today. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Have a great show for you tonight. Man, I got some killer sightings to show you tonight. And before we get into that, I hopefully everybody had a great Merry Christmas. And this year, 2021, is almost over with. This is the last broadcast of the year, and we're going to go out with a bang. We got some great videos. One from Litchfield Park in Phoenix, Arizona, and also a fleet. You're not going to believe this, man. A fleet of orange amber Phoenix lights in Tucson, Arizona. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. The Phoenix lights just isn't limited to Phoenix, okay? These lights are actually around the world. And we have two great people that filmed these lights. One in Litchfield in Phoenix, Arizona. One in Tucson. Can't wait to show you these videos. It's great stuff. And yeah, so that being said, let's get this party rolling. Hopefully everybody is having a great night. This is a late night broadcast. Hopefully you got your cup of joe. I got my cup of joe. And yeah, so let's get rolling. First order of business. Okay, so I have another channel. It's called Haunted Encounter Adventures on YouTube. And my wife and I, we go out there and we investigate ghosts and hauntings and things like that. And we take our paranormal equipment with us. And we just did an investigation out there in Tombstone, Arizona at the Birdcage Theater. That's a great video. Check that out. It's called Return to Birdcage Theater. And I'm sure you guys are going to like that very much. Haunted Encounter Adventures. Check it out. Make sure you subscribe to that. And if you have any paranormal happenings, please contact me. Also, on the Facebook page, Haunted Encounter Adventures. Make sure you become a member on that. Okay. The Phoenix Lights, Petroglyphs in the Sky, Landscape for the Spirits. True stories, myths, legends, and UFOs over Phoenix. Written by yours truly. 15 years in the making on this book, ladies and gentlemen. Many years of hiking on South Mountain, exploring the mountain, understanding the petroglyphs, and actually having a Native American shaman take me up on the mountain and show me what the petroglyphs and explain on what the petroglyphs are talking about as far as doorways and spirits and things like that, and what these true petroglyphs are talking about, because the rock art around Phoenix is actually prehistoric photographs, if you will, of what occurred through the first Native Americans known as the Hohokam Indians. And so they were rulers, they were masters of their of the land over 1,000 years ago. They were the first ones to make canal systems in Phoenix. And they were masters of the land for 1,000 years, and all of a sudden they simply vanished, right? Without a trace. Archaeologists want us to believe, well, they simply migrated somewhere else, but we can't find any trace on where they went. That makes no sense. If they're going to go somewhere because of drought, we're going to be able to find them, right? No, these people were here for 1,000 years, masters of their land, rulers of their domain, and then all of a sudden, man, they just disappeared. And the archaeologist wants us to believe they just simply walked away with no trace. Now, even when you and I move, we take our belongings with us. But yet these Hohokam Indians didn't. Matter of fact, Hohokam is a Pima word for the people who are gone, the people who got taken away. Because we don't know what happened to these people, right? Now, The Pima and the Tohono O'odham tribe, who are considered themselves ancestors to the Hohokam people, the true people, they will tell you what happened to these Hohokam Indians, right? The petroglyphs are prehistoric photographs of what had taken place here in the Valley of the Sun. The phoenix is rising out from the formal civilization, right? Rising out from the ashes of the formal civilization, but they don't tell you. They don't tell you what that formal civilization consists of. Yeah? They just want you to believe, well, you know, the Hohokam people, they were great at building canals and they were peace-loving people, never went to war with anyone, and they just simply disappeared from history with no trace. But that's okay. Don't worry about it, right? But these photographs on the mountains around Phoenix, these mountains are actually sacred scrolls, all right? All these mountains around Phoenix with all these petroglyphs on it, it's not graffiti. It's not hunting and gathering. It's telling a story. It's telling the true history of Phoenix, on where Phoenix came from, the ashes of this formal civilization. And the formal civilization consists of, hold on to your hats, folks, sacrificing altars, gold tombs and idols, worshiping these beings in the skies as gods, giants. Uh-oh, did I say that? Yeah, I did. Giants. I found evidence of giants in Phoenix, Arizona. I found the tombs out there. I found the sacrificing altars. All of this is documented. This is not hearsay. This is just not my opinion. All of this is stuff that hasn't been talked about in over 80 years. That's the reason why nobody knows about this. It's because they covered this story up for so well, so good. They don't want nobody to know about this. That's why they made South Mountain, formerly known Mount Sapoa, the source of the Phoenix Lights. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. South Mountain in Phoenix, Arizona is the source. These things, these beings from the earth and sky, these spirits have been visiting this mountain for thousands of years. This is nothing new. This is nothing new. This stuff has been going on for thousands of years. And they don't want you to know about it. They're covering this up. The first park ranger, Charles Holbrook, 1930s. The Native Americans at that time told Charles about what happened to these people. Told Charles about the tombs. Matter of fact, he was guarding the tombs out there on South Mountain. So much history. After his death, they buried it all in the late 1940s when he died, because he talked about the tombs out there. He told people there was gold tombs out there. That was kind of wrong for him to do because he's out there chasing people away from digging it up. But that's one of the reasons why, after his death, they buried this story, because they don't want people like you and me going up there and digging up these tombs anymore. Why? Because if we do, we go in there and we dig up one tomb and we pull out something that will change the history of what we are being told anyway from the archaeologists, the true history. It'll change the history of Phoenix. That's exactly what I'm here talking about today. The real history of Phoenix. Not hearsay, not archaeologists telling us everything's okay. No, man. There is something deeper here. And I proved it. I can prove it. And I did prove it. And after Charles Holbrook's death, when he passed away, they buried all his information. He had a little flyer. You can go on my YouTube or my website. My link on my website is on my YouTube channel, The Phoenix Lights, Petroglyphs in the Sky. All my videos you'll see there, you'll see a link right to my website. Now, when you go on there and you click and you see Charles Holbrook, click on that link. It brings up this flyer. And it talks about the lost city of Cibola. Why would a respected park official be talking about a mountain consists of gold and the Spanish conquistadors coming and visiting that valley or that mountain? The gold, the sacrificing. Mount Cibola, Mountain of Mercy. That's what they called South Mountain back in the day. You can read all that stuff there. This isn't just my opinion, right? I didn't make this up. I found this in the library in Phoenix, Arizona. I found this buried in a folder for 80 years. All this information. Like for a year, right? For a year, I'm watching the mountain. I was born and raised in Phoenix. Let's just go back a little bit further. So all the new people who has joined this channel, who's watching us right now, understand just a little bit of my background and where I come from, and how I became to get this show going and get this book out to the public. All right, I'm a native. I'm a native to Phoenix, not Native American. I am American though, but I'm a native to Phoenix. I was born and raised in Phoenix, Arizona, and I've been seeing these things in the sky ever since I was a kid. I'd be playing catch football with my dad, and there'd be an orb in the sky. I'd see a light in the sky. I'm in the 5th grade. This orange light's in the sky, right? And I go to school, and I tell my friend, who happens to be a Native American boy, and I asked him, I was like, dude, did you see that light last night? He's like, oh yeah, my grandfather, right? My grandfather says those lights live on the mountains over there, and he points to the White Tank Mountains on the west side of Phoenix. I found in the 5th grade, right? And he's telling me stuff that, at the time, you're just like, okay, whatever, it's cool. But growing up and investigating this stuff and seeing these lights in the sky all your life, and seeing these UFOs all your life, dude, you're starting to wonder. And that's what made me go on a hunt, on a quest, to find out exactly what is going on here. So we all know about the 1997 March 13th lights. We don't want to get into that right now. All right? That's when these lights really started to make a comeback. There's a lot of disinformation about what really happened that night, from people trying to sell books and movie tickets and things like this, trying to get a name for themselves by falsifying what really happened that night for their own gain. We won't really go into that tonight, but Lord knows I can get into it. 20 years, dude. 20 years. I've been looking for that type of claim, what really happened March 13, 1997, and I can't find one evidence. I don't go off of hearsay. I do not do hearsay. I do what we can prove, right? And that's where the credibility is what we can prove. Now, you just can't come in and say, yeah, I saw those lights and, it's a spaceship and blah, blah, blah. Without any proof. You got to back that stuff up, man. You got to start talking this stuff. In today's world, and so many hoaxes and people trying to get famous and make money and movies and blah, 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 man, you really got to back up what you're saying. And that's where my work comes in, because I just didn't take the word of hearsay from someone who's not even a native here in Arizona, who comes from another part of the state, another state. And they come in and they say, oh, a spaceship went over Phoenix. Believe me, here's my book. Here's my tickets that I'm selling at Harkins movie theater every year. And that's what's going on, with not investigating anything on Phoenix history. How can you go in and start saying all this stuff when you don't have any proof? Well, I didn't. I went in this on my own. My adventure in studying the Phoenix Lights started in 2004. I was witnessing these lights on the east side of South Mountain, right over a power plant. There's a power plant that's bored down into the fault line on the east side of South Mountain on Ray Road. Those of you who live in Phoenix, and you can even look, on Google Earth, you can see that power plant. It's right there on the east side of Phoenix. These lights were hanging right over that power plant all summer of 2004. I got some great sightings. Those of you who have been following me all these years know what I'm talking about, man. I think I got the most sightings of the Phoenix Lights ever. I don't think anyone has topped as many sightings as I've got, because I went out there and I hunted them. I went on a quest. I went on a journey. I went on a hunt. And you know what? These things showed me where to go. When the lights happened again like in 2004. I saw it on the news. I knew what direction, where to look, where to go. I headed out that way. I got my camera, I got my tripod, I waited. I moved out there I moved to Mesa, where I had a pretty good idea from my studies, from my research on where these lights were hanging out at most of the time. And even though the 1997 Phoenix Lights happened on the west side of Phoenix, between the Australia and South Mountain, in that little area right there, I went east because there was another guy that I was watching. His name was Tom King. He's one of the guys that actually filmed the Phoenix Lights out there. You hardly ever hear about that guy, do you? He'll tell you exactly what had happened because he was there. He filmed it, right? He was also filming lights a lot of times on the east side in Mesa. So I figured I'd go to Mesa and try my luck there. So I moved out there on a hunch. And that hunch paid off. I was looking south every night. I was looking south. And then one night, 2 orange amber lights appeared right in front of us a few miles away in the sky. And they were moving. They were moving towards South Mountain. Once they got around that area, they disappeared. 2 more appeared in the sky, heading that way towards South Mountain. Well, that went on. That was my first sighting, and I'm shaking. I'm new at this, right? Because you can't believe what you're seeing, right? Because these lights just appeared in the sky, dude. No airplane, no noise, no shadows, just silently appeared in the sky, moved towards the mountain, disappeared. So, nights prior to that, I kept going out there, waiting for them to come back. They never came back. And being in a major city like that, you got a lot of obstacles in your way. You got trees and buildings and houses and all these obstacles, right? So I wanted to go somewhere where I could see the open sky and see all of Phoenix. I found Mesa Community College. I went up there on their bleachers. They got a set of bleachers for the football game outside. I went up on those bleachers. Oh my goodness. I saw everything, and I was closer to the South Mountain. I could see South Mountain there. I could see Phoenix behind me. I mean, there was a great view of the valley, and that's the perfect setup. And then it happened. I didn't see the lights to the left of me anymore when I first saw them as they were moving right to the mountain. They started appearing again right in front of us, right there. My son, my friend, my other witnesses, my video camera was catching these lights right there. And they never came. It was weird, right? Because remember at the beginning, I saw them. I was way over there. I was way east. And I went south and I found the college. And that's where I'm going to watch them at. And I never saw them again. I never saw them over there. Then now they're in front of us. I followed them. They showed me where to go. That's the only explanation I can think of. They showed me where to go. Boom. Now they're right in front of me. And what are they doing? They're right over a power plant. Now this gets crazy. So these lights, they kind of appear to like the left of the power plant a little bit, right? And you can barely see it. They're moving, right? They're moving ever so slowly. Like when you film it and then you go back and replay it and then you fast forward it, you can see them. Boy, ooh, they're moving, dude. Right? They're cruising across the sky. But in real time, they're silent. They're slowly moving. They don't want to get noticed, right? And as soon as they get over that power plant, they hover there for a minute, and then they disappear. And then, like, some more would appear over there and slowly move, right? The whole summer of 2004, man, I'm up there every night, and I'm capturing some great, great activity out there, man. I'm getting triangles, right? I'm getting lightning bolt formations. I mean, it was just crazy. So many lights, so many sightings, almost every night. Well, I called the news. I'm like, dude, is anybody seeing this? Come on now, right? Well, I'm filming them. It's like 2 months into it. I'm filming them. If anybody wants to talk to me, you know, I got great footage. Probably some of the best footage of these lights ever anywhere. Well, finally, one news anchor called me, Channel 3. And we did a news report, and I believe the rest of that time, I think I did like maybe 3 or 4 other news reports. But the end result was that everybody was seeing flares. That was the cover-up story, right? We're all seeing flares in Tucson, 150 miles away, right? And when you look at the videos, you can tell that those lights are right here. They're in the city. They're in the valley. They're next to South Mountain. They're huge. They're big. They're orange. They're amber. They're not making any noise. They're weird. No shadows, man. They're there, dude. But with their flares. Because invisible airplanes, right? Invisible airplanes are dropping these things out. And, oh, by the way, these flares don't smoke. Right? Fire without smoke. And they're huge, right? And they sit in formations that are a triangle, right? There's a triangle. I mean, flares, dude, come on. Flares don't last that long. Flares drift away from each other. We all know this, man. So, well, that was it. It's flares, and I'm like, dude, you know, no way. And prior to that, right, I'm watching a television show, and it has this Native American man who works at the Pueblo Indian Art Museum in downtown Phoenix, and he's up there on South Mountain. He's talking about the petroglyphs. And I just, you know, caught my eye, so I turned on the television. You know, I love archaeologists. I've been studying archaeology way before I became a sky watcher, at least 10 years prior. I mean, I love history. I love archaeology. You know, I eat that stuff up. I can see something spotted, you know, man-made a mile away. You know, you can't fool me. I know if something is out of place or not. Okay, I'm very good at that. And so when they started talking about the petroglyphs, I'm like, wow, you know, because that caught my attention there, you know. And this is like in the beginning of 2004. Now, the Phoenix Lights happened in 97, right? And no one's ever looked into these petroglyphs before. And so Dave Morris is up there, and another guy is with him, and he's like, well, that stick figure man looks like he's looking up at something in the sky. And Dave turned around and he says, yes, that's part of the interpretations out here, is that our ancestors saw and recorded on the rocks things that they witnessed in the sky. Oh my goodness. Are you what? Did you really say that? Did you really say that? Wait a minute. Okay, just let's step back here. Just step back for a minute. Okay, wait. We have strange lights in the sky, and now we have strange markings on the rocks out there. Right? And no one has looked into this before? Well, I kept that in the back of my head, okay? As this was before I started seeing the lights out there on the east side. So the end result in 2004 is I'm seeing flares. Well, that's just a crack. So in 2005, I moved to the mountain because like all my studies, right? I was learning from what I was reading on credible reports, on stuff that we can actually, like verify that, mountains seem to be the key. So these things brought me to South Mountain. I might as well go a step further and move to the mountain. So in 2005, I moved to the mountain to see if I can get any day shots. Lo and behold, man, yeah, I started getting day shots. And I was close enough to the mountain where I could get to it and start exploring it. Started, finding the petroglyphs and things like that. Well, I filmed this thing come down out of the sky. I moved on the east side of South Mountain about a mile away. And I saw this thing come down out of the sky. And it seemed to land on South Mountain. So the next day I go out there to the exact same spot where this thing went down at. And what do I find? I find a boulder with spirals and a stick-figure man looking up exactly what I filmed the day before. I'm finding all these spirals. I'm hiking the mountain. I'm finding all these spirals. And then I remember Dave, right, from the Pueblo Indian Art Museum. And I called him up. And I was like, dude, I saw you on television talking about the glyphs. Can you please take me up on South Mountain and show me the petroglyphs? I didn't really tell him what I was doing, what I was researching the petroglyphs for. I just told him that I was making a little documentary on the glyphs. And I saw him on Channel 8. And I'd like to get his story on it. Well, he went up there. We met up there. We spent about a couple hours up there. And he talking about the giants, right? Talking about spiral doorways. Talking about lizardmen coming up out of the sand world, right? All these crazy things. And at the time, I'm like, because, I was brainwashed like everybody else, thinking a spaceship went over the city of Phoenix March 13th, 1997, with no evidence of this, but yet people are going to believe this, right? I've been looking for that evidence. I can't find no proof of that. I just hear a lot of hearsay. I mean, I was out there that night. Like I said, I lived there. I was out March 13th, 1997. I was outside most of that night. I didn't see anything fly over the valley. Anyway. Talking about spirals and giants and things like this. And when he told me about the spirals, how they're going down into the underworld, and that these spirals are symbols for doorways to the underworld, for the spirits, I was thinking to myself, well, how, because he says the spiral in at a crack, and the crack in the stone is the emergence point, is the doorway. And I'm thinking, how can a spaceship get into a little crack like that, right? Until I actually witnessed what was going on here. I spent like 3 years on South Mountain, watching that mountain. No one has ever done that before. I spent 3 years watching South Mountain on a constant basis, all the time. Camera ready, out the window, second floor, perfect view of the east side of South Mountain for 3 years. And I watched these things come and go. And the more and more I watched them, and they knew I was watching them because they would come right up by the window. They would come right over the apartment complex. They would leave South Mountain and come right at me. Look at my videos. Look at the stuff I was filming back then when I was living there. I soon realized that these things are not spaceships. These things are not crafts. These things are like a living being or a living entity, if you will. And the more and more I understood the petroglyphs through Dave's teachings, the more and more I started understanding what it all means, what this crazy puzzle means, what the Phoenix lights really are, what these lights are, what these days things are. I mean, a lot of people, because we know technology, I get it. I understand this. Because that's all we understand is technology, nuts and bolts and spaceships and crafts and stuff. We automatically assume that that light in the sky is a spaceship, is a craft. But what if it's something else? What if that light is the being itself? What if that light is a living creature? Yeah? The more and more I study the petroglyphs and the more and more I watch these things in the sky, the more and more my whole understanding, my thought process changed. I went down this one path thinking spaceships, aliens here to help us. The evidence and the history of these beings is taking me down another path. And that's not talking about spaceships. Not once did Dave ever say anything about a spaceship, anything about a craft. He's talking about spirits of the earth and sky. Well, you can watch some of my other programs, but and you can, that's what this book is all about. It talks about the true history of Phoenix, Arizona. I've done so much research on that mountain. I don't think anybody else has ever done that before. So much hiking, so much evidence, so much. I brought the photographs down to you. I bring this information down off the mountain and bring it into your hands through this book. This book, it talks about the history of Phoenix, Arizona, through what the petroglyphs are talking about, through what Dave Morris, Charles Holbrook says about the petroglyphs on South Mountain. The true history of Phoenix. It's all in this book. Some people will get it, some people won't. It's not a regular UFO book. There's color photographs in there. All these UFO books, there's no photographs. There's no evidence, there's no proof. This book has it. And I don't make any money off this either. I told the publishers to give my half of the money to the foster kids in Phoenix. So I don't see a dime off this book. It's not about money. It's not about fame and fortune. It's about getting this credible information to you. That's what I'm doing this all about for. That's why I'm here. It's because I went beyond what some of these other sky watchers are doing or some of these other investigators are doing. I went to the source. I did my field work. I did my research. I found the evidence buried in a folder in Phoenix, Arizona for 80 years. That's why I'm talking about this here. For a whole year, I'm finding tombs and altars and evidence of Mayans being here, right? Of petroglyphs. The petroglyphs are telling me a different story here. That whole year, I'm finding all this evidence on the mountain. And then the next year, I go to the Phoenix Library, and I was looking up the CCC, the Conservation Corps, the people who went in there, went on the South Mountain during the Depression, and was blowing up petroglyphs, and making ramadas and picnics and fireplaces and swing sets for the kids. But they're blowing up petroglyphs, man. And I want to know why. So I went to the library. I went to the Burton Bar Library down there on the 4th floor, into the Arizona room, and I asked the secretary, give me everything you have on South Mountain. Comes out with this folder. Boom. That got me introduced with the first park ranger, Charles Holbrook. In that folder is the documents that you'll find on my website when it talks about the lost city of Cibola, Phoenix, Arizona, the lost city of gold. He talks about the tombs, on how he was protecting the gold tombs that were there. He's even telling you how much gold is in these mountains, in South Mountain. All this stuff I found a year before I found the stuff in the folder. All the proof and the evidence in the folder. So after his death, that's why they made South Mountain a government park. Because they're hiding stuff there. They don't want you to go off the trails and discover these tombs like I have. Discover these man-made pyramids that are still out there today. Discover the walls made by giants. They don't want you to see all this stuff because it's going to rewrite history. That's exactly what is going on here. I'm trying to bring this proof, positive evidence to you. This is the true history of Phoenix. You don't believe me? Go out there on South Mountain and investigate it yourself. Spend a couple years out there on the mountain. Watch that mountain for 2 years on the east side of South Mountain. You will see them. I guarantee it. If I can do it, so can you. I learned the pattern of these things. I understood the pattern. I understood the changing of the seasons and when these things are here and when they're not here. All of this is in my book. How to understand the petroglyphs. The Phoenix Lights, Petroglyphs in the Sky, Landscape for the Spirits, True Stories, Myths, Legends, and UFOs over Phoenix. There's just so much, all right? So many years of research into this, into the Phoenix Lights. So that's just a little bit, of my history. I could go on, but we're running out of time. You can get it on Barnes & Noble. You can get it on ebooks and also eBay. The Phoenix Lights, Petroglyphs in the Sky, Landscape for the Spirits. So I just wanted to give you a little bit of a little bit of an idea on, like who I am and what I was doing and how I'm here now talking to you about all this stuff. I did the pilot for the UFO Hunter show and the Ancient Aliens TV series. And then that was in 2005. I wrote an article for UFO Magazine. I've done interviews with Jaime Maussan. I've been on True TV. When the UFO Hunter show actually aired in 2007, I did the show in 2007. So yeah, my stuff is credible. Type in my name, Jeff Woolwine. You'll see me on the internet. All my information is there. I've been doing this for years. And so it's just not my opinion. This is stuff that I can prove, stuff that's been backed up. And that's where it lies. There's so many people out there that haven't really done their research as much as I have. And I'm not going to come on here and just say a whole bunch of nonsense without proving it. Right? I'm not like that. There's so many Skywatchers and so many so-called UFO researchers out there that say, they talk the talk, but they can't walk the walk. See, I can do both. Why? Because I've had firsthand sightings of these beings on a regular basis. Right? I've seen these things up close. I understand the petroglyphs. I understand the meaning of it all. And it's not just something that I'm making up, all right? It's something that has always been here with us. These stories, these legends and myths and stories about the spirits of the earth and sky and all this stuff has always been with us. It's just been overlooked and concealed. It's been covered up. And that's why we don't know about it. So that's why I'm bringing this information to you. For you to understand what's really here, what the Phoenix Lights really is. And it's just not my opinion. It's what's been said for over 1,000 years. It's just been covered up, it's been buried, and they're not spaceships, they're not crafts. Crafts and little aliens and stuff like that, that's all fine and dandy. But until we can find proof of this, we have to go where the evidence lies at. We have to go where the evidence is consistent at. And this is the petroglyphs, some of these ancient scrolls, some of these ancient, biblical scrolls that we read. And I'm not talking about religion, all right? but stuff that talks about what these beings in the sky really is. And that's what it is. And that's what it's all about, ladies and gentlemen. It's about truth. It's about what can be proven. Not somebody trying to sell you a bullcrap book on what they think it is with no evidence. You can't. Hearsay needs to take a holiday, man. And proof and evidence need to step forward. And I think we need to start looking at this, in a different way here. We just can't believe on somebody just, hearsay is great. Everyone has one, But we need to look at the evidence. We have to look at the proof positive here. The proof is in the petroglyphs. The proof is what, built some of these biblical scrolls, not only from the Sumerian with the Anunnaki, but some of these other biblical scrolls that we read. I'm not talking about religion now. I'm talking about if you look at that book as a history book for the world, because the biblical archaeologist has already, pulled up so much credible evidence that book is correct. And there's so much stuff left out of that book, and that's why most of the reasons why we don't know what these things are, because it's been concealed and covered up for so long. But they can only do it for so long, and now, the truth is finally coming out. And that's where this type of program comes into play at. Getting down to the bottom of what's really going on here. Not from hearsay, but what history says what the Phoenix Lights is. Who the Hohokam people are. What these petroglyphs are explaining, what they're talking about. That is the credibility. That is what we need to start looking at here. What do the first people who lived on this land say about these things, right? Who better to know, because the first people who lived here. And there's a lot of them out there, right, that still want to say they have aliens in their closets, okay? You want to stay away from people like that. But the ones who will really sit down and talk with you, and they will tell you, because why? Because their parents from generation and generation has been told on what these lights in the sky really is. Some will talk to you about it. Some won't. Because this is a very touchy subject. And yeah, those are my other programs. Okay, check out some of my other programs. I talk about that stuff. Okay, petroglyphs. Let's look at some petroglyphs. Okay, this is up on South Mountain. This is on Hieroglyphic Trail, Hieroglyphic Canyon in South Mountain. Boop. There's my little arrow. Okay, check this out. So many barbells, right? There's been so many barbells, and that's exactly what these things are. They're called barbells, right? And we even see, barbells and crop circles and things like that. So I don't even want to go there, but yeah, this is like a barbell, right? Now we have some orbs right here. See the two orbs? Now check this out. Look at this real closely. Let's blow this up real quick. Let's take a real good look at this here. If you look real closely, you can see a man in there. See that? Look at that. There's his head, there's his shoulders and his arms. His legs are coming down there, and he's looking out through a window, right? And a lot of people will think, oh, that's a spaceship, and he's taking that guy up. Well, I can understand why, they would think that, but these are actually, like I said before, living beings, living creatures. And here we have two orbs with dots. In my past shows, I talk about these dots in the middle of these orbs or these lights, right? And so what this barbell is doing is this barbell is coming down and is actually absorbing this guy. Mm-hmm. And there's so many stories out there and so much petroglyph depictions of humans interacting with these beings from the sky. They would actually pick these people up. Matter of fact, that's what happened to the Holocron people. Eventually, they got picked up by these beings and carried off in the sky. That is the truth. That's what really happened to the Holocron Indians, the people who disappeared. That's what the true Native Americans will tell you. That's what the petroglyphs will tell you, and that's what makes sense because, you know, even when you and I move, we take our belongings with us. But yet these people, they left everything behind and simply vanished. Okay? And the archaeologists, like I said, they want you to believe they simply migrated somewhere else. But the petroglyphs, right? And the oral tradition of what happened here says that these beings came down and took these people away. This is the reason why this subject is so controversial and so taboo and so overlooked, is because nobody wants to look at that because it's kind of a scary thing. It is a scary thing. And that's why there will never be disclosure, in my opinion. They know exactly what is here. Our government, other governments around the world, they know exactly what's here. They're not going to tell us because it's not a good thing, and that's the problem here. There are some good ones. We read in some of these ancient tablets and some of these ancient scrolls. Yes, there are good ones out there. So we have good ones and we have bad ones. But I think, unfortunately, the most of the ones that we see today are the bad ones. The ones that were cast down to earth, right? Just like what we read. It's so crazy because we can read this stuff, right? In some of these manuscripts. And then we can go out there on the rocks, on these picture rocks, on these prehistoric photographs, and we can see the photograph of what these biblical texts are talking about. Now that's credible. That's where that credibility lies at. Right? We can see some texts. We can read them from, anywhere from 3,000 to 7,000 years ago. Written from a place clear across the globe. And then we come over here and we see the exact same stories written in pictures, carved in prehistoric photographs. We can read it and then we can see the photographs. I mean, come on. It's exactly what's going on here. And then there's a little man up there and he's being taken away up into the sky. Absolutely. Here we go again. We have a great barbell here. Look at that. See that? And so a lot of people, they see this line here. Like they'll only see like one barbell, right? They'll only see like one orb. Let's cut that up right there. So they'll just see, this circle and then like this line, right? And they think it's a string, right? And so that's gotta be a balloon because we've been brainwashed over the years that spaceships are here, crafts are here. So that thing in the sky up there, because there's a line coming from it, it must be a balloon, even though it's not moving like a balloon, even though it's changing shape and changing colors. That has to be a balloon because it has a string, right? No, this is a line. It's a line that comes down. And many of those petroglyphs out there depict these lines coming down and picking up animals and picking up people. On my website there, the very front page of my website, you can see on this orb, this UFO orb, and it's got this line, and he's picking up a man. He's carrying a man up into the sky. So that's exactly what these lines are for. Also, they're for connecting together. I've seen this. This is when the barbells come into play. The line connects to another orb, connects to a UFO orb. So now we have a barbell. It looks like a barbell formation in the sky, right? But actually, it's two orbs, it's two UAPs, it's two living entities, and they're connected together. Now, my theory on that line and why they connect together is because, the whole reason why they're at South Mountain in the first place is because South Mountain was created by a fault line. This creates energy, okay? And so these beings are attracted to this energy. That's the reason why South Mountain is the source of the Phoenix Lights, is because that mountain harnesses this energy, and these beings are attracted to this energy. Now, the Native Americans say that they're going down into the underworld, but on a scientific analysis, they're going down into that fault line. They're going down into that energy source, okay, and that's why they're hovering over these energy places, and so when they connect that way, just so many times I've seen them connect and make barbells, and I am thinking that they're just using each other's energy. They're connecting together, and they're just using each other's energy. That's just what I think. We really don't know, but in studying them and watching them in that line, I just think I have a gut feeling that they're absorbing each other's energy, and they're flying in the sky that way. So yeah. Here we go. Here's like a perfect example. Look at this. So this is on South Mountain. I want to say like 28th Street and South Mountain. You want to go straight up. There's like this huge valley right up in there. It's great. Yeah, I just love South Mountain, man. I mean, because the landscape changes, right? It'll be like all like desolate and wasteland on one side, and then maybe a mile down, I mean, it turns into like a beautiful landscape. I mean, South Mountain is just incredible. And so I'm getting off topic, but here we have these petroglyphs, and it's on this slab of table. So this is a table, and it was actually broken. This huge slab was broken off another boulder and then placed on the ground. So we're looking at this on the ground, and these petroglyphs are carved on it. And here we have what looks like a barbell. See this? We have another orb there, and then we have this barbell. Then we have this man. Okay, we know he's a man, right? Because he doesn't have a belly, an orb in his belly, and he doesn't have a tail. So we know this is a regular man, and he's grabbing that barbell. Okay, let's just blow this up a little better. Don't you love history? I love history. And when you examine it, man, this is a photograph of what happened. It's not just some, graffiti. We're looking into history right here. This is what happened. This explains what these UFOs in the skies are. Look, this guy right here is hanging onto a barbell. Look at these orbs, right? This is carved over 1,000 years ago. How is this possible? We see orbs now, and there's orbs on the rocks. Oh my God. Now this guy, he's being picked up. He's being picked up by this barbell. Look at that. Isn't that crazy? Then we have another orb there, right? Have another orb there. Look at that. And that's hard to tell what this is. That could be another guy right there. It's hard to tell what that is. But this for sure over here, we know that. We know that's a guy. And we know, like I said before, that he's not a lizard person, what they want to say a lizard person, because he has no tail and he has no orb in his belly. So this is a regular man. And he's being carried off into the sky, whether it's a game that they played, which is possible, or if he was, like sacrificed, and when he was put up on that mountain to be carried away, to be taken up into the sky. We don't know. But we do know this is what took place here because of what is carved here. And that's the reason why we're not supposed to touch the petroglyphs. We're not supposed to remove the petroglyphs, because when we see petroglyphs in one area, right? So like in this canyon, and there's like a lot of petroglyphs there, but there's no petroglyphs on the other side over there, is because nothing happened on that side. It happened here. It's a prehistoric photograph. It's a written testimony. It's history on what happened in that spot. So another example too. So the artist will paint or will carve something high up on the rocks, and you have to look up to see that art. And why would he risk his life to climb way up on a cliffside just to carve, a squiggly line or an orb or something like that? Why is it high in the sky like that? Because when you examine the petroglyphs, when you look at the petroglyphs, you have to look at the whole landscape. The artist is putting the landscape in with the art. Okay, so it's up high, so you have to look up. He's telling you, look, I saw this orb in the sky. I want you to look up because I saw this. And I don't have a video camera. I don't have a camera. I have a boulder. I have a huge mountain that I saw this UFO in the sky. And how am I going to tell people what I saw? Well, I got to climb up there and I got to carve that thing up there so it lets people know, look, I saw it in the sky. All right? That's why these cliffs, these petroglyphs are high up, some of them, because it's oriented in the sky. So this petroglyph here is down on the ground, okay, but it's oriented up, okay. So it's oriented up in the sky. It's flat. It's laying flat on the ground, but the carving is facing towards up. So you have to look down to see it, but but what actually happened was in the sky, up in the air. And there's no mountains around in this valley, to explain what's going on here. So I have to break a huge boulder piece over here and bring that mountain over here and place this table slab here and carve what I saw right here. And what I saw was this man being taken away by this barbell and other orbs around him. And it was in the sky. That's why it's oriented up into the sky. And this is over here on the where is this? This is on the White Tank Mountains. This is on the west side of Phoenix. And look what they did here. This is a perfect example on how they use the landscape in with the art, okay? Here we have a perfect example. We have these eyes here and eyes here, right? But actually, we know that they're not spirals because they're not connected together, all right? And there's a lot of petroglyphs out there, and a lot of people make that mistake because they see these circles and they think that they're spirals. But they're not. They're not connected together. See, look at this. They are not connected together like a spiral is, right? So here, this is what it's going. This is what this type of petroglyph is representing here. Is we have a circle, and then it's like water. It's like ripple, right? Those of you who have seen these lights in the sky, and you see them how they pulse, they're pulsating, right? And they look like plasma, and of course, it's energy, right? And they're pulsing, right? They're pulsing. Exactly what the artist is trying to tell us here is that there's a light in the sky and it's pulsing. It's like a ripple effect. It's like water, right? You throw a stone in the water and then ripples, right? That's exactly what it's talking about here. We have a light in the sky, but he's flashing. He's orbiting. He's orbiting here. He's flashing, I guess, and he's rippling. Look at that. That's exactly what's going on here. And so there's a dot right there in the middle, right? Over here too, same thing, right? Now look what they did, because this rock already looks like look at that. Is that crazy? Because the rock already looks like a possible lizard, they're going to put these two orbs for his eyes, and there's his nose, right? And there's his mouth. So we're looking at a lizard, right? And the two orbs, the two lights in the sky are its eyes. Isn't that crazy? And it's a huge lizard. See how we have two things going on here. We have the orbs in the sky, the lights in the sky, which are pulsating, which are flickering, which is creating, the ripple effect. And then we have what looks like a lizard or some kind of, like dragon, if you will, or a snake or a serpent, right? Isn't that neat? So they're killing two birds with one stone here. Right? So I just love that petroglyph, and that's very neat. And that's one example on how the holocoms use the landscape in with the art. And I always like to take photographs of the sky too, because it's right over at the sky. And I had to climb up on these boulders to take this photograph. I saw it; it was kind of high, so to get a good picture of this, I had to go climb up. And and like I said before, why is it so high? Because you had to look up to see it. He's telling you. I saw these things. I saw these two lights that were flashing, that were pulsating in the sky, right here, right where these things are carved at. I saw this here. And so I don't know how else to tell you, but to carve this here in the spot where the event took place at. And this is why I film. Every time I do that, every time I film these petroglyphs and it's high up on a cliff, I always show the sky, because that's part of the art. That's part of the story. Is he's telling you, I saw these orbs in the sky. That's why you have to look up. And so I had to climb real high to get this photograph. And there's the sky. So these two lights were seen up here in this sky right here. That's exactly what he's telling us. Isn't that great? I love history. Prehistoric sightings, prehistoric UFOs. Here we go again. Now look at this, right? Let's look at this. Let's examine this here. So we have these men here, right? Lots of stuff going on. This is on Hieroglyphic Trail. This is where I took Pat Uskert from the UFO Hunter Show. When we were doing the pilot for the UFO Hunter Show, I took him up on Hieroglyphic Canyon because there was a lot of petroglyphs up there. And here we have what looks like there's a lot of people here. So there's like some entities here. There's like a regular man here, and they're looking up at this thing in the sky. Look at this. This is the whole idea here. You see this here? Now the archaeologists, they call these things anthropomorphs, shapeshifters, changing shape. And that's exactly what these UFOs, these UAPs that we see in the skies today are doing. They're changing shape. These auras and lights and stuff, this is just the beginning. Soon you will start to see these orbs start to anthropomorph. They will change. You're going to see these orbs change into a serpent, change into what looks like possible like an animal. It's not a very good photograph because I took this off a video. But you can tell on how, just look at the feet. My other programs, I talk about the feet and these anthropomorphs and how you can tell that it's a creature in the sky. It's a UAP, it's a UFO, it's a shapeshifter because of its feet. Now, not only is it in the sky, and a regular animal isn't supposed to be in the sky in the first place, but this thing is actually flying in the sky, and his feet are backwards, right? So this foot's going this way, and this foot's going that way, so they're backwards, okay? That's one way you can tell what a UAP is on a petroglyph, is the anthropomorphs. They're changing, they're shape-shifting. And so the archaeologist goes that's about as far as the archaeologist will go. They'll say, yeah, these are shapeshifters, they're anthropomorphs, but that's as far as we're going to go. They're not going to mention that, they saw it in the sky, when clearly there is evidence of people looking up at this thing in the sky, right? So yeah, not a spaceship, but a living animal, a living creature, right? See what I'm talking about? And again, look at the photograph. Here's the sky again. See the sky? So we have to look up. And this is carved up on the cliff of Hieroglyphic Trail on South Mountain. And it's up on a cliff. It's high, right? And it's oriented towards the sky up here. Because you have to look up because he's flying in the sky. Remember, they didn't have video cameras back then. So they had to tell their stories with the rock. And they include the sky, the landscape, everything in with the art to explain on the story that they're trying to tell you. And here they are saying that these people on the ground saw this thing in the sky, and it looked like an animal, right? It was shape-shifting. It's an anthropomorph. Here we go again. Look at this. Look at this orb, right? We have an orb, and then we have he's shape-shifting, he's anthropomorphing, he's changing shape, right? So that's what I'm saying. These orbs that we see in the skies today, the lights and the orbs, this is just the beginning, man. This I look at these things in stages. Okay, the first stage is what we see now today. Just regular orbs and lights. Okay, now sometimes they look like a worm in the sky, and a lot of people think it's a cigar craft, right? But that long thing in the sky you see up there isn't a craft, but it's a living creature. It's like a worm, right? It's a creature. It's alive. It's not a spaceship at all. These things are alive, right? So second stage is when they start to change. Okay, this is second stage, and that's already here. I'm telling you, because I witnessed it. I filmed this many times. A lot of people haven't seen this yet, but stage 2 is already here. They're morphing. They're changing shape. And it's only a matter of time when someone's going to see a flying man flying across the sky. I mean, we've already started filming flying serpents out here. You know, the Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent. You know, I filmed that so many times, and these worms. You know, I filmed these worms in the sky so many times, right? So it's only a matter of time when they're gonna see this orb, and it's gonna shapeshift. It's gonna anthropomorph, and it's gonna change into a snake, or it's gonna change into what looks like a man, right? I've seen this. Look at my website, all right? I call it Quetzalcoatl, okay? My wife and I was out there on South Mountain during the day, and I saw this light appear above the mountain. I started filming it. My wife has the binoculars. She's looking at the binoculars. And from this light comes this creature out from this light. It came in through a doorway in the sky. It came out of that light, and it was black. It was a dark figure, and it was a snake. And Pam, she's freaking out. It's a snake. It's a snake. She's looking at the binoculars, right? And it's moving across the sky, and then it starts to change shape. All right, it starts to anthropomorph. Look at the video. It's changing shape. And then next thing you know, it went from a serpent to a stick figure man with his hand on his waist, and it looks like he's got 2 feathers coming out of his head. What? It's on I filmed this. It's on my website. Look at that. Quetzalcoatl. It's crazy. That's exactly what we're dealing with here when it comes to these UFOs and the petroglyphs connecting together. I don't think anybody has ever connected these petroglyphs in a way that I have before, and that's why I call this petroglyph in the sky. Do I call these things, do I call it spaceships in the sky? No, it's petroglyphs in the sky for a reason, because that's what we are seeing. These petroglyphs that we see here around the mountains of the Valley of the Sun are prehistoric photographs of UFO sightings. Now, there's a lot of petroglyphs around the world. We all know this. And in some mountains, it's not a holy mountain, if you will. You won't see any spirals on it. You won't see any anthropomorphs on it, okay? What you're going to see is hunting and gathering. You're going to see ceremonies like kachinas and things like that. Only the mountains with spirals on them and anthropomorphs is the source is the source to see UFOs at. When you see these spirals, when you see these anthropomorphs, that's the mountain that you want to watch. That is a sacred and holy mountain, because these things visit that mountain on a regular basis. Absolutely. Okay, are you ready to get into some of these sightings here? Holy cow, Aichi mama, here we go. Okay, so the first one I want to introduce you to, and this guy, Scott Prone, videotaped these lights, and let me pull up the details on this. This was filmed about 5 years ago at Litchfield Park in Phoenix, Arizona. Okay, now let's go ahead and take a look at this real quick. This is great. This is a great sighting, and thank you, Scott, so much for bringing this to my attention. And here we go. Look at this sighting. We're gonna blow it up real quick before we hit play. Here we go. All right, there we go. This is great. This is a great sighting. And this is from Scott Prone. Great video. Thank you so much, guy, for bringing this to my attention. Great lights in the sky. Awesome video. Look at that. Just wonderful. Look at that. Isn't that neat? And look how they're just sitting information right there, right? See that? They're not drifting apart like flares do, right? They're information. Look at that. Look, there's a lot of them there. Look, see? This was filmed in Litchfield Park in Phoenix, Arizona, about 5 years ago, he says. Oh, I missed it. Great video. Thank you, Scott. You're awesome, man. If you guys see any more out there, please send me the videos. And also, if you guys film any videos of UFOs, please send it to me. If you guys have any rock art that you want me to look at and air on television, bring it here, man. I send them to me. Find me on Facebook, Petroglyphsinthesky, Jeff Woolwine, and also, follow my YouTube channel. And send me your YouTube videos or your UFO videos. I'd love to check it out. And if they're good stuff, like this stuff here, I will definitely for sure show it on the show here and give you awesome credit for it. Look at these things, dude. Look at that. Look. Great sighting. Great job, my friend. You kicked ass on this one, buddy. Look at that. And there's a pyramid. See the pyramid? Boop. It's hard to see, but we have an orb there, and then we have two orbs over here. So it's kind of like this long pyramid, right? Love the pyramid sightings. Great video, dude. Awesome video, man. Love it. Just love it. So cool. Let's zoom this in. Let's zoom it in as far as we can. We're so zoomed in. See if we can get back to it. Here we go. Look at that. See those lights, how they're just hanging there, right? They're moving together, right? Great film. Thank you so much for bringing that to my attention. Awesome. Great job, Scott. Thank you so much. The next one we were going to see, now this happened the 19th of December in 2021. And this is great. This is a fleet of orbs, a fleet of lights. Now this is crazy. This is very good stuff. And this was filmed. She's from Poland. She lives out here in Tucson, and her YouTube channel is Dagmara, Arizona. Make sure you go find her on YouTube. So yeah, Dagmara, Arizona. I'm sorry if I'm saying her name wrong, but she's a great lady, and we're gonna meet up pretty soon, and we're gonna talk about the petroglyphs, and so yeah, it's gonna be great. And she filmed these things not too long ago. What did I say, on the 17th? No, on the 19th. Excuse me, December 19th, 2012 at 7 p.m. Okay, are you ready for this, ladies and gentlemen? Are you ready for this crazy sighting? Okay, here we go. Let's take it. Let's show you this. Holy cow! Look at that! Oh my goodness! What is this crazy stuff? Look at this. Is that insane or what? Holy cow! Look how many of them there is. Look how many of them there is. My goodness, there's just so many of them, right? And look where they're coming out of. See that hill? See those mountains there? I guarantee there's spirals on those mountains right there. Look, because they're all coming out of those mountains, right? Look at that. Is that crazy or what? Great sighting. Awesome. Look at that. See that? Holy goodness. And look, see, they're coming out of that hill right there. And look, see, now if these are lanterns or flares or anything, they'd be going away from each other. Okay? they would be totally like burning out, and they would totally look how they're like kind of they're joining together right there. See that? So if these are flares or China, look, it's just coming out of that mountain right there. If these are Chinese lanterns or anything, they would not, for one, they would not last that long. Let me move out of the picture here. Let's get a good video of this. Let's look at this up close here. Look at that. Is that insane? Great video. Awesome video. There are so many of them in the sky. So many of them. And I just love it how they're coming out of the hill. They're coming out of this hill right here. Probably from behind it. There's probably another mountain back there. Look, see? Somewhere back there, they're coming out of. And we will be going out there. We will be investigating this. I'm for sure going out there, and we will be investigating this, and we will make it a show. And so yeah, we're going out there, and we're gonna go check it out. I'm gonna make it a point to go out there and exactly find out what exactly is out there. Let's back this up for a minute. Let's back it up. Dude, look at that. See? Holy cow. Look at that. Oh my God. And she was filming lights, nights before that. A few nights prior to that. So she was ready, And so this is right before the equinox. So right after that, they will be coming back very soon, especially like around in January. So I'm sure she's going to start seeing more in January. But yeah, look at that. And right behind that mountain there. Okay, let's go ahead and play this. Man, is that crazy or what? Look at that. And so, lanterns, Chinese lanterns would be drifting apart away from each other. These things aren't, all right? They're in constant formation. Look at that over there. We have some pyramid formations going on there. We got these guys here that are joining together. I mean, come on. Lanterns are not going to stay together like that, okay? They are not going to stay together. They're going to drift apart, okay? They are not going to stay together like that. Look at that. See? And look, see, one's moving and the other one isn't. Okay? One was moving and the other one wasn't. Let me back this up a bit. Show you. Oh, got my arrow. Yeah, so those things there. See if I can find it real quick. Okay. And look, see that one kind of disappears and then he comes back, right? Lanterns ain't gonna do that, okay? And then where is this one? I think one starts to move. I think it's this one here. Yeah, look at that one there. So some of them are moving in different directions, right? That one's going this way. All right, look at that pyramid formation right there. Awesome stuff. Oh, there it is, I think. Yeah, there it is right there. Right over there. I can't seem to get it. But yeah, so if this was like flares or lanterns or anything like that, they would not be in the sky for this long, for one. And I pointed out that some are moving, away from each other. They're like one's going one way, the other one's going the other direction. There are some that stay together. I mean, this is not man-made. These are living beings, living creatures, living entities. And like I said before, this happened on December 19th, right before the changing of the season. So they come in seasons. They come in a pattern. Awesome. Thank you so much. And we are going to be meeting up with you very soon. And we're going to be talking about the petroglyphs. I'm going to be showing the petroglyphs. And we're going to go out there and find out exactly where this location is. And it could be miles away. I don't know. I don't know yet. Haven't been out there yet. But she welcomed us to come out there and investigate. And we're going to go out there and check it out. So, yeah, awesome. Awesome sighting. Thank you so much for bringing that to me. And that just so great. Make sure you check out her YouTube channel. Myra, Arizona. And yeah, she's a great lady. And check her out, man. She's just wonderful. Great sighting. And thank you guys so much for tuning in to the Phoenix Lights Petroglyphs in the Sky. Make sure that you follow me on my Facebook page. And the Phoenix Lights Petroglyphs in the Sky. Check me out on YouTube also. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. And I think we'll end the show with this sighting. So yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Send me your UFO videos. Send me your petroglyph photographs. Let's talk about UFOs. We will see you guys next time. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.